Hello, this is Domenico with Easynomics, and this is my first video for the new year 2022. We're going to look at comparative and absolute advantage. To define these terms, first looking at absolute advantage here, it's essentially an explanation of nations or firms or even an individual that can produce more outputs than another nation, firm, or individual using the same quantity of resources. And this was a theory that was developed by Adam Smith, Scottish economist Adam Smith, founding father of modern economics, who in his book An Inquiry into the Nature and Causes of the Wealth of Nations looked at why nations trade, the gains derived, and arguments for specialization to improve productive efficiency, and so on. So Adam Smith argued that nations that have the absolute advantage should pursue generating those types of outputs and then export them for trade. Again, absolute advantage, a nation or a firm or an individual that can produce more outputs than another nation, firm, or individual utilizing the same quantity of resources. Now, that kind of makes sense, I guess. But later on, another economist, or another British economist, David Ricardo, who we can see here, if you're curious, you can research a little bit more about him, developed a much stronger argument as to why nations, in theory, should specialize and trade. And that theory was comparative advantage. And this is an extremely important concept within the field of economics. It basically explains at a micro, macro, and international trade level why we as individuals or firms or nations specialize in a particular thing to then trade it with others. And essentially, what's happening is that a nation or a firm or an individual that has the lower opportunity cost has the comparative edge and thus should specialize in that particular thing and then trade that ability with others who have other comparative advantages. And so we're going to illustrate that concept through the use of a production possibilities curve, assuming constant opportunity costs. An example that I like to use in class is this question that we see here. Should Lionel Messi, the famous footballer from Argentina, mow his own lawn? All right, let's say he has a large house, and let's say that in his back lawn or backyard, he has a football field. Should he cut the grass of his own backyard? So to illustrate that, we're going to take a look at some data. Let's use some potentially real-world data. All right. So with Lionel Messi, let's assume, let's look at data. Here we'll use Messi. And Messi in the 2012 Spanish League, he scored on average, and now I'm assuming that one football game is 1 hour, assuming that that is the case. Well, yeah, before we get that, he scored 91 goals, okay, in 69 games. Okay, so let's assume that one game is 1 hour. So 91 divided by 69 means that on average, he's scoring 1.32 goals per hour. Okay, that's how productive he is on the football field. So over here in my little matrix, looking at the average number of goals in 1 hour, I'm going to put for Lionel Messi that he scores on average 1.32 goals in this particular year, 2012, assuming that one game is 1 hour. Okay, now let's also assume that Lionel Messi, since he's quite athletic, can mow or cut the grass of his backyard football field in 1 hour. All right, so the average number of football fields that can be mowed in 1 hour, let's say that Lionel Messi can do one football field in 1 hour. Since he's so athletic, he can get that done quite quickly. All right, now let's look at me. All right, Mr. Composto or Domenico. All right, let's just assume that I was playing in 2012 for Barca, and let's say that I accidentally got a goal in. Maybe the ball was deflected off my leg and it got into the goal, and I scored 1 goal in 69 games. All right, pretty sad. So if we divide that, 1 divided by 69, that's going to work out to average number of goals per hour, 1 divided by 69, and that equals about 0.014. Very unlikely that I will score in an hour, 0.014. And let's say that it takes me about 2 hours to cut a football field in terms of cutting the grass. So 2 hours. Well, how much of a football field can it cut in 1 hour? Half of that, 0.5. Okay? So this is kind of how I start my little discussion about absolute and comparative advantage. We're looking at Lionel Messi and trying to answer this question: should Messi cut the football field in his backyard? Should he allocate a portion of his time to do that? So here we have this matrix. Here's myself, Domenico, average number of goals in 1 hour while playing football in the Spanish league. 1 hour, 0.014, unlikely that I will score. Average number of football fields that can be mowed in 1 hour. I can only do half a football field in 1 hour. And with Lionel Messi, we see he's much more productively efficient than me in both cases. In 1 hour, he scores 1.32 times, and in 1 hour, he can do an entire football field. I can also illustrate that using the production possibilities curve. So on the y-axis, it's going to be the average number of goals in 1 hour. And here we can see that Messi is at 1.32. And for myself, it's all the way down here at 0.014. All right, it's not to scale, but let's just go with this. And on the y-axis, the average number of football fields that can be mowed in 1 hour. And we can see with Lionel Messi, he can do 1 football field, whereas I can only do half of a football field. Okay, so looking at Leo's PPC curve, if he allocates 1 hour of his time towards mowing the grass, he can cut 1 football field. If he allocates all of his time towards playing football, in 1 hour he can score 1.32 times. For myself, if I allocate all of my time or that 1 hour to cutting the grass, I can do half a football field. And if I allocate all of my time towards playing football in 1 hour, I'm very unlikely to score. What we notice about these two PPC curves is Lionel Messi's PPC curve is way above mine in both cases. So he has the absolute advantage in producing football shots and cutting the grass over me. So according to Adam Smith, Lionel Messi has the absolute advantage. He can produce more goals or cut more football fields than I can in the same amount of time. So Lionel Messi has that advantage. So according to Adam Smith, he should be doing both. He should be playing football and he should be cutting the grass because he's clearly better than me at both. Well, then David Ricardo steps in and says, wait a minute, there has to be an opportunity here for both of these individuals to trade. Should Lionel Messi really be spending his time on cutting the grass? We should look at his opportunity cost. So comparative advantage is a nation or a firm or an individual that has a lower opportunity cost in the production of a good than another nation, firm, or individual. And we're going to see that David Ricardo's theory is much more applicable and practical. So let's get rid of absolute advantage. We understand that it's whoever can produce the most using the same resources, which could be most in a period amount of time as a resource. But let's look at David Ricardo's idea. In order to figure out the opportunity cost, we have to use this matrix to see for every hour spent in, let's say, cutting the grass, what was the opportunity cost? What did you lose the opportunity to do? And here we can see that with Lionel Messi, every time Lionel Messi spends 1 hour cutting the grass, he lost the opportunity to produce 1.32 goals. Okay, again, every time Lionel Messi spends 1 hour cutting 1 football field, he lost the opportunity to score 1.32 times. So right here we see the opportunity cost. 1 football field that will cost him the ability to produce 1.32 shots in a 1 hour game. How can we see that for myself? Well, we're going to have to see this in like terms. So I'm going to take 0.5 and divide it by 0.5, which is going to equal 1. And I'm going to do the same on this side. 0.014 divided by 0.5, that's going to be 0.028. Okay? So take a look. Every time Messi spends 1 hour cutting the grass, his opportunity cost here is much greater than mine over here. My opportunity cost is significantly lower. Every time I spend 1 hour cutting the grass, I've only lost the opportunity to score 0.028 times. Significantly lower than Messi. So according to the theory of comparative advantage, I, Domenico, should specialize in mowing football fields, mowing the grass of football fields. Okay? Because I have the lower opportunity cost. Every time I spend 1 hour cutting the grass, I've only lost the ability to score 0.028, significantly less than 1.32. Let's see it the other way. Let's prove that Lionel Messi should be playing football and not cutting the grass according to the theory of comparative advantage. Okay? So we're going to go back and use the original data within this matrix to understand this. So again, Lionel Messi, every time he spends 1 hour cutting one football field, he lost the opportunity to score 1.32 times. And as for myself, let's say here, every time, let's go back. The original data was in 1 hour, I can do 0.5 football fields. And it's very unlikely I'm score in 1 hour, 0.14. So this is the original data. All right. So let's reduce this side to 1, okay? To see the opportunity cost on the other side. So this is 1.32, and I'm going to divide that by itself so I can see in the time it takes to score one shot, how many football fields could I have cut. So this is going to be 1 divided by 1.32, and that equals 0.76. So what this is telling us is that in the 1 hour of time it takes Messi to score, I'm sorry, in the time it takes Messi to score one shot, he lost the opportunity to cut 3/4 or 0.76 or 76% of a football field. How about myself? In the time it takes me to score, so I'm going to take 0.014, 0.014 divided by itself, so 1. So in the time it takes me to score once, how many football fields could I have cut? Let's fit this in the box here. 0.5 divided by 0.014. That works out to about 35.71. Let me just double check that. 0.5 divided by 0.014, 35.71. That is correct. So look at this. Every time Lionel Messi scores one shot, in the time it took him to score once, he lost the ability to cut 3/4 of a football field. Whereas for me, in the long amount of time it takes me to score that one shot, because it's very unlikely that I will score in each hour, in the time that it takes me to score that one shot, I could have cut 35.71 football fields. So my opportunity cost is very, very high. I should not be playing football because in the time it takes me to score, I could have cut the grass of 35 football fields. Lionel Messi has the lower opportunity cost. He should be playing football. So Lionel Messi will play football. Messi should specialize in playing football. Okay, that's what this theory illustrates. All right. We're going to have some other videos that they're going to practice this, making these calculations to show the opportunity cost, but that is the introductory concept of absolute versus comparative advantage. Now, another way to understand comparative advantage is looking at this. This many students find very helpful in understanding this concept. Okay, let's look at Lionel Messi now in terms of the amount of money he makes. In the 2017 to 2018 season, Lionel Messi, he made about $50 million. And that was his salary from Football Club Barcelona. 50 million. Okay. That's his salary plus bonus, right? Salary plus bonus from Football Club Barcelona. All right, fine. Let's break this down a little bit. So that works out to about 958,903.32 per week. And let's assume a 40-hour week. So that works out to about $23,972.58 per hour, assuming a 40-hour week. Now, clearly here you can see the large opportunity cost for Lionel Messi. For every hour that he's playing football, he is making $24,000, a huge opportunity cost. So if he's spending 1 hour cutting the grass, he lost the opportunity to spend 1 hour playing football and making $24,000. Clearly, he should not be cutting the grass at his home. He should be specializing in football, making the $24,000 an hour, and pay someone else to cut his grass. And so hopefully with this, you have a much better understanding of this idea of comparative advantage. Whoever has the lower opportunity cost has the comparative advantage in that particular thing and should specialize in producing that thing and trade it with others. And that's it. If you have any questions, feel free to comment those questions below. And don't forget to subscribe and to like. Thank you so much.